Hi YouTube, I'm a woman on the internet, or Megan if you prefer, I know I would, and I'm coming at you guys with a updated Photoshop Creative Cloud tutorial for GIF making. So since I'm using the free version of Bandicam and I've only got 10 minutes, let's get right to the brass tacks. Alright, to begin with, there are two programs I use for making GIFs. The first one is Bandicam, which I don't necessarily use for screen capturing most of the time. I actually use OBS, but for this video, I don't know, I just use Bandicam for symmetry. But as far as GIF making goes, in my opinion, Bandicam is the best screen capture to use because it's just quicker and more efficient. Using a program like OBS is doing way more than you need to. Alright, so the reason I mention this is because there's a lot of GIF making tutorials out there that will encourage you to download programs that will stuff your computer full of malware and spyware, and they are utterly unnecessary. Trust me when I say these are the only two programs you need. So let's begin. So one of the biggest changes they've made from the time since I made my previous tutorial to now is that now you have to select each window that you need depending on the document you're working on. So for GIFs, there are 3 windows that you need. And those windows you can select by going up here up at the top and selecting Window. First thing you're going to want to pick is your timeline. The second thing you're going to want to pick is your modifier keys. Disclaimer, you don't need to pick these in any particular order. I just work my way up in reverse alphabetical order because I'm weird. And the third thing you're going to want to select is layers. For this video, we're not going to be using layers, but you use them with GIFs more often than not, so just get used to pulling that up. So we've got everything we need up. So the second step is I've already got some footage recorded using Bandicam that we're going to use to make into a GIF. To get this footage onto Photoshop to turn into a GIF, we're going to go up here to File, we're going to go to Import, we're going to go to Video Frames to Layers. Now I only have one source up. I delete sources after I GIF them because you're just going to use up so much hard drive space if you don't. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this if you're working with file size limitations. If you guys have no limitations with file size, please ignore this part. So for those of you who are coming from a place of wanting to learn how to make GIFs for Tumblr, you're going to want to go to Selected Range Only and then click Limit to every 2 frames. Now for larger GIFs, you're going to want to go every 3 frames, if they're particularly large, even every 4 frames. But I'm going to make a smaller GIF, so every 2 frames is fine. You just need to keep in mind, the higher this number, the smaller your file size is going to be because it's going to give you less frames to animate with. Then you're also going to want to make sure that Make Frame Animation is clicked, especially if you're a type of person who does other work on Photoshop, which most people are when they start learning this program because it's so useful. So down here, these little arrow keys here are going to let you select your beginning of the GIF and your end. So we're just going to select this chunk here, and then you can see what's going to play by hitting the arrow key. So this is a very simple, very quick GIF. I'm going to make it a little longer to make it more fluid. I can get away with it. And this is the sequence we're going to animate. If you notice with Bandicam, I did not record any of this under full screen when I recorded it from YouTube. There's a reason for that, and I am going to show you. So we have everything selected, limited frames, frame animation selected, we click OK. And boom. So down here is your timeline. The first thing you're going to want to do every time is make sure your first one is selected, which is usually selected automatically. Scroll over to your final frame, hold down the Shift key, and then click the final frame. This is going to select 1 through 23 or 1 through however many frames you have. And the reason that we are doing this is because we're going to crop out all this white YouTube ugliness, this watermark, and that watermark here. For people who add these black borders and put their watermark on them, y'all are the real MVPs for us GIF makers, and I thank you. So, we're going to want to select our crop tool right here. And mine's already selected, obviously, and then we're just going to want to click and drag all this ugliness out of the sequence. So we're going to do that, click and drag everything in. make it all nice and pretty. If you are not just a walking human earthquake, this is quicker than what I'm doing. I'm going to pull this in because I know in my heart of hearts there's going to be a little bit of white left at the edge. And then once you're done cropping, hit enter, and that's going to commit the change to every frame since you had them all highlighted and selected. So there's your GIF. You've just made a GIF. That's all it took. It's very simple. Photoshop is not as intimidating as it looks. So, if you notice, it's going a little faster than I think you, I, or any sane person would want it to go. So we're going to change the frame delay rate. And to do that, we're going to select our first frame again, go all the way to the end, hold down Shift, select the last one again, and then you see this little arrow down here, and right here there's a 0.03 beside it. What we're going to do now, so we're going to click that little arrow, and then depending on what kind of GIF you're working with, you're going to change your frame delay rate. So I do a lot of Sailor Moon GIFs, so I know right off the top of my head, especially for transformation sequences, that 0.08 is good for these. Oops, 0.08 is a great amount of time for the frame delay, because Sailor Moon transformation scenes are very fast paced, very kinetic. So a solid 0.1 is just a tad bit too slow. So I'm going to set my delay by other, or selecting obviously one of the pre-selected options and hitting OK. And look, it's a lot more smoother now. And you've got a nice clean GIF, and that's all there is to it, guys. You just made a GIF, and it took me less than 7 minutes to show you how to do that. So the final thing that I need to show you guys how to do is save it. Now, I use a legacy option for saving called Save for Web. There is a new option. I have never used it before because no one has ever extolled upon me the virtues of using the new option. So I'm going to show you guys the old school way. If at some point in the future I find out that the new option is somehow more efficient, I'm going to show you guys that, but for now I'm sticking to what I know. So to save it, we're going to go to File, we're going to go down here to Export, and we're going to go to Save for Web. So if you notice down here, 2.675 megabytes, like, oh, woman on the internet, I thought you were going to make your channel useful for a change. Like, oh, I am. We're going to get this down to below the 1 megabyte file size by going over here to image size, and we're going to change just the width to 350, which is my size of choice for Tumblr. And that gets us right below the 1 megabyte mark at 923.6K. And of course you're going to keep the aspect ratio, so the height is going to adjust automatically. And that's it. You save it to whatever folder you want it on, and you've done it. You have made a nice clean GIF all on your very own, using a program like Photoshop, which can seem very intimidating. But once you figure out the basic principle of your timeline, layers, and frames, what all of those things do, and you figure out the principles by certain things like unifying layer styles and just all that jazz, you're going to find this program is really intuitive, really easy to learn, and a lot of things that you're going to want to do on it, you're going to be able to apply different principles to do. So you don't necessarily have to look up these tutorials, but once you get really the hang of the basics. But I hope that you do. I hope that you found this useful. And if you like what I do on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. And I'm always open to requests. If there's anything you guys are interested in doing, any burning questions, please let me know, because I would love to show you guys how to make GIFs and other Photoshop conventions in the safest, most efficient means possible. I guess that's all for today. I'm rolling up on the 10-minute mark. I'm going to make this quick, you guys. Like I said, I'm a woman on the internet. I tried to make my channel useful today, and if you feel like I did, please like, comment, or subscribe below, and have a good one, guys. See ya.